You spent the best part of 2 trials weekends, one where everyone was rampantly using bugged weapons, to get your hands on your Igneous god roll. Keep away with Eye of the Storm, keep away with Opening Shot, keep away with Moving Target. You finally have your roll after hours of shedding blood, sweat and tears. It should, in theory, feel incredible. 2 accuracy perks working synergistically. Never has Igneous had 2 accuracy perks working together. You should be winning every single duel, right? Right? But something just feels off. The gun just doesn't feel right. What's going on? It's not even performing as well as your old Igneous hammer. Are you just washed? Well, I'm here to reassure you, for once, it's not you, it's the gun. More specifically, the gun's recoil. But wait, doesn't Igneous hammer have 95 recoil direction? Isn't that perfectly vertical? Well, not anymore. Bungie in Season 22 added a new recoil system called Deterministic recoil, which is a complete overhaul of a gun's recoil pattern. This applies for guns with the Season 22 watermark, which includes the Season 22 Igneous hammer. So what does this mean? Well, have a look here. Previously, 95 recoil direction on the Igneous hammer meant that the gun's recoil direction would be vertical, and here you can see an old Igneous hammer doing exactly that. And that's because recoil followed a sinusoidal graph pattern. A higher recoil number meant less magnitude in terms of how much the gun would recoil, and the number the stat ended in determined whether the gun predominantly veered left, right, or vertically. Any number ending in 5 would have a vertical recoil direction as it crossed the x-axis here on this graph, but the magnitude of that vertical recoil would be less the higher the number was. So 95 would be vertical, but would jump up vertically less than 85. The exception to the 5 rule was the number 100, which also produced a vertical recoil direction, as you can see from the graph. So what about now? Well, let's test out the new Season 22 Igneous hammer, which also has a 95 recoil direction. As you can see with the new deterministic recoil system, the Igneous hammer actually veers slightly to the left, even with 95 recoil direction, and makes this curved shape on the wall, as described by Bungie in their TWAB. With deterministic recoil, as the name suggests, it's a predictable pattern that's repeatable and always makes that left-sided curve with this gun. But nonetheless, it's got a horizontal component to the recoil now, which is what we absolutely do not want, and why your new Igneous hammer god roll feels off. So how do we fix this? The answer is to get the recoil stat to 100. Here's how a 100 recoil direction Season 22 Igneous hammer shoots. As you can see, it's nice and vertical and doesn't have that left-sided curve. Some of the keen eye among you will have also noticed that with the new deterministic recoil system, Igneous hammer now just has much less recoil magnitude in general. Just look at how tightly close together the bullets are with a Season 22 Igneous hammer in comparison to an old Igneous hammer. Both are shooting vertically, but the new Igneous hammer with 100 recoil direction not only is shooting vertically, but it's very, very tight. So this means the new Adept Igneous hammers are absolutely worth the grind, not just for the different new perks, but once you get the recoil to 100, the gun just doesn't move. So there's going to be 2 methods to get that recoil stat to 100 for any new Igneous hammer you obtain in Season 22 onwards. The first is to apply a counterbalance mod, but to waste an Adept Igneous hammer mod slot not on Adept stability, not on Adept handling or Adept range is a big loss of 10 stats here. So I'd only recommend using counterbalance mod if you have a normal non-Adept Igneous hammer. With an Adept Igneous hammer, you'll want to change the barrel for the gun, and you have 3 options here which bump up that recoil stat to 100. Chambered compensator, arrowhead brake, or extended barrel. Out of these 3 options, the only one I'd actively avoid is extended barrel, because you lose 10 handling, which is just a bit too much. The other 2 though are completely viable here. Chambered compensator, losing the 5 handling is okay, you're gaining 10 stability, which is very useful on a 120 hand cannon, and arrowhead brake is a win-win, you're making the recoil perfect and gaining 10 handling overall. I got lucky with one of my better rolled Igneuses that it did have chambered compensator, and the gun just feels infinitely better with that barrel. So go inspect your god roll Igneous hammers, change the barrel to one of the 3 I mentioned and try it out. you'll notice a world of a difference in your duels. The Season 22 Igneous hammers are absolutely worth the grind, but you just need to make sure your recoil direction is 100. If you found any of what I talked about today useful, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny tips, both PvP and PvE. I'm Mr. Ronit, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.